So, how will this impact the Chinese economy? Let's bring in Wang Wen in Beijing, who's Dean and Professor of the Chongyang Institute for Financial Studies at Renmin University. Thank you very much for joining me. First of all, that 54% in addition to tariffs from his first term, what do you make of that, and how do you think Beijing may retaliate or respond?
In Chinese mainstream media today, there are not as many reports on U.S. tariff as imagined, because many and most ordinary Chinese people have been used to the tariff war of the United States. Over the past 7 years, China and the U.S. have been in a long-term trade war. Chinese people do not believe that such a tariff would have a significant impact on the Chinese economy, because the dependence of China economic growth on export has decreased to around 16%, while the dependence on export to the US has decreased to around 2%. So Chinese believe that Trump is fickle and hypocritical, and the Chinese government is able to respond well to Trump.
You say this, but of course, China is facing a host of issues economically at home, as well as a property crisis, youth unemployment, of course, the birth rate. When it comes to options for retaliation, we saw, for example, in February when the US enacted a 20% tariff, we saw Beijing respond with a 15% tariff in turn. Will it be a tit for tat, or do you think Beijing is going to try and look for other options?
I think Beijing will have a lot of countermeasures. For example, we will add a tariff to US again, and also we will devalue RMB or restriction on the export of rare earths to US, etc. In sum, China has a lot of experience dealing with Trump. But in my opinion, the best way to deal with Trump is to do well in domestic affairs. That is why in the recent years, China has continuously promoted domestic reforms, opened up to the outside world, and broken through technological blockades, and attracted more and more foreign capital, which has made gradually China the best investment hotspot in the world. So from this point, in the competition between China and the United States, I think time is on China's side.
We also heard at the National People's Congress last month this reiteration or the repeating of an around 5% growth target. Do you think tariffs and US policy like this is going to put that into peril?
I don't think so. I think the US tariff policy to China economy's growth, the influence is very small. But on the other hand, I think the impact to the economic globalization is very huge. But we believe that nowadays Trump has made the US a public enemy of the world. All the countries in the world, they are opposing Trump's tariff policy. So now for China, we will adopt countermeasures to Trump. So in this point, I think Trump's tariff policy is a very foolish behavior.
Wang Wen, thank you for coming on the program and giving us your insights.